actually learned some Croatian. Bok Maxim, ja sam Margo, Drago Dan, Drago Mie.
Drago mi je. That's really good.
Yeah, thank you. So welcome to Junior Scoop. I know that you've been performing internationally since the early 2000s, right? So are you still nervous for concerts, before concerts?
When we do a promotion of new album, when I present new pieces, and then maybe first couple of concerts, maybe I feel a little bit more tense because this is the first time that I'm presenting new material. But in general, not really, not like stage fright that paralyzes me or something. I have an level of excitement, but not serious stage fright, thank God.
Can you share your stories with Hong Kong?
I mean, Hong Kong has a special place in my heart. So by the time I came to Hong Kong, I already sold platinum. So there were fans waiting for me at the airport. And for me, as a classical musician who comes from the world of classical music, which is completely different, we are playing in the concert halls where there's an absolute silence. We are wearing the suits, everything's like this. And then I come here and I had a performance in the shopping mall and people were screaming all the time. For me, it was a shock, what's going on? Because it took me quite a while, to adjust, because I was a classical pianist since I was 9, and it took me a long time to get adjusted for this completely different atmosphere.
I know that you've incorporated Chinese instruments like guzheng and erhu, and how do you blend the two cultures and the Chinese instruments with Western instruments?
Well, I choose songs on which I think they can go well. I have a lot of songs which are originally wrote by Tonči Hulić, my friend, Croatian composer, who did Croatian Rhapsody. So he does still compose for me, and we deliberately choose this Chinese sound. And the erhu is one of my favorite instruments, which is so warm and closest to the human voice. So I love to implement these elements. I have it on many songs on my albums. I was 12 and I played, I think, Haydn Piano Concerto, yes, as a soloist with an orchestra for the first time. My story was quite different than most of the stories because I badgered my mother. I pushed her to enroll me in music school. Normally it's the other way around. Parents are forcing the kids. But I loved it, and as soon as I started to, play the piano, I knew that this is going to be something which I'm going to do all my life. So never in my life I had, doubts or questioning about my future career.
How would you describe your relationship with the piano today?
The piano is not my work or job. I would never say that. Piano is a intricate element of my personality and of who I am. Maybe one day I will decrease the amount of the professional concerts and the touring, but me stopping playing piano, that will never happen, because it's a part of me, part of who I am. And not only in war, but I think piano was always this escape for me when I had really difficult situations in my life. So it really did help me a lot.
That is just passion. How do you balance respecting the original while adding your own voice when rearranging the classics?
Well, I had so many different musical styles of crossover since I started my crossover career, which was some 22 years ago. So at the beginning, for example, my Piano Player album, I used to do I would take classical pieces and I would do them arranged with electro-pop, really modern upbeat music, which now today I do completely opposite. So I take the songs from a pop mainstream, like Clocks from Coldplay, and then I do them completely classical way. So I add a lot of symphonic orchestra, a very elaborate piano arrangement. I love to explore with different styles, I was never a person who said, this can't go with this, I think there's a good music and bad music, and, it's worth exploring.
Your performance involved a lot of elements, blending electronic beats, pop visuals, and also classical piano. What role do you play in designing a performance?
I mean, when it comes to putting together the stage and the tour, how it's going to look, I'm fortunate enough to work with some of the amazing professionals and people who are in charge of this, like a video projections, the guy who does it for quite a few years now, lighting designer. I'm the one who decides which direction we need to go and how it's going to look generally, and then they come up with the ideas and we discuss them together. I mean, always general idea was, this is not a classical concert. This concert needs to look more like a pop or rock concert. So it's a lot of excitement, a lot of video projections, it's very exciting, on stage. I have big band, like 12 people with me on stage, so yeah, very exciting.
Your work has received much praise, but also with some controversies. How do you handle the varied reaction and critics?
Well, I don't pay much attention to critics, the people who don't like my type of music, because, not only in my crossover music, but in any genre of music, you can't please everyone. There's always going to be people who don't like your music. And I always thought, why would I concentrate on them? I will concentrate on people who like my music. And my biggest critics is my audience. I mean, we have this communication and exchange of the energy, because if I feel the audience, being very excited and appreciative, then, they get me this energy, which I then return to them in the sense of performance, and my energy on the stage, and then they give more to me and I give more to them. This is this communication which every artist on stage have with the audience,
After concerts, what do you do?
We go clubbing.
Go clubbing.
Yeah.
You still have the energy to go.
Not as much as before, but this is also some element which I liked. What my manager told me always, it's a very exhausting job. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of expectations, and not for me, but all for my band and all my crew on the concerts. You need to find a way how to relax, because when you're on tour, we used to go on tour for 3 months. 3 months is a long time, to be away from the home and travel and play. So you need to find a way to release that excess of energy,
So other than piano as your hobby, are there any hobbies that you took?
I like nature, so I like traveling. So despite when I don't work, I travel privately. So because I'm a restless soul, I think, I can't stay in one place more than 5, 6, 7 days. And I think this is because of my work. I think work did that to me. But I love to explore nature. I like to walk. I'm very connected to nature. Nature calms me down.
You do meditation?
Yes, outside.
Yeah. Outside. Oh. How would you picture yourself 10 years or 20 years from now?
I hope I won't be working 7 months a year. I don't know if I will have that energy, I love performing, but it's exhausting, I think I'm gonna have less concerts, that's gonna be definite, but I will still play piano.
The music industry is very competitive, but now young people would really want to work in this industry. It's very attractive. What advice would you give to them? Because of course it's difficult.
It's so difficult, Competition in the classical music is so huge, so vast. There's so many pianists, who are coming, and musicians who want to succeed. And if you have unbelievable talent, people will recognize it, People from the industry will help to develop it into a career. But to be determined, you need to find your goal, find what you want, and not to have anything stand in your way. Be patient and determined and hardworking.
Yeah, patience is the key.
Patience is the key, because it's not easy.
At first I thought that Mr. Maxim would be very cold, but then he turns out to be very encouraging and welcoming, which I really appreciate.
Oh, she's very good, she's great, and it's been a pleasure talking to her. She's a really good listener. She develops questions based on my answers, so the conversation continues, which is always good when you have an interview.
I also learned that perseverance, determination is really the key to success. I think he motivated me to work harder.
Well, I know it's difficult, because in any job that you choose today, it's so competitive. But I always say, if you find your goal and if you find your love in your life, you need to be determined, a lot of hard work and patience, and it will pay off in the end.